Hey you guys, it is Monday, April 27th, and it's day 18. So we are gonna go through our packet, and the very first thing that we're looking at is reading. So in reading today, the very first thing you're doing is checking out that module video that is in the description below. You're gonna watch that video as you follow along in your packet on pages 17 and 18. You're gonna listen to the read aloud for About Trees. So it looks like this. It's on page 17 and 18 of your packet. You're gonna follow along as they read that book to you. After you've listened to that story about trees, you are going to think first and then discuss with an adult, what do trees do for us? So you can think back to how we used to always talk about all the things that trees provide us. So maybe you can remember back to some of those things and also reference that book about trees that we just listened to. And you are going to discuss what trees do for you. After discussing that about trees and what trees provide for us, you are going to look to page 20 of your packet. And you're looking at day 18. And either in this box or on a separate sheet of paper, make sure you're keeping track of all of your work. You are going to sketch one part of a tree and you're gonna label it. Make sure you're doing really high quality work. So that means you're thinking about it before you just start drawing. You're gonna write in your best handwriting when you label. And you are making sure that it is super neat and clean looking work. So I have an example for you. I chose to draw the branches of a tree, and I drew my branches out here connected to that trunk, and I labeled them with the word branch to show what part of the tree I chose to draw. Moving into word work, we are going to first watch that word work video that is down in the description. So go ahead and check that video out. And after you have done that, we are going to look at spelling the sounds. So we've done this a couple of times. You're going to use those cycle 19 words that are on page 21, the very last page of your packet. And you are going to have someone call out each of those words, and you are going to spell those words sound by sound. So make sure you're tapping out all of those sounds, whatever way is easiest for you, and you're gonna write those sounds down. Make sure you're keeping track of all of those cycle 19 words that you're practicing. So I know in the video we watched, it talked about the sound or the digraph ch. So CH together says ch. And we are going to look at some different words that have that sound in them, the ch sound. So I've made a defining map, and in the middle we have our ch that we're looking at. And I have a few different words, I know they're kind of written crazy, a few different words on here to help us hear that ch sound. So on my map, you will see I have the word chip, the word chin, the word chat, and the word rich. So each of those words either begin or end with that ch sound that is made up by a C and an H. What I want you to do is you are going to follow along with me. So grab something to write with and grab either a piece of paper or a journal that you've been keeping all of your stuff in. And we are going to write the sounds that we hear. And these words are going to include the ch sound, so the CH digraph. So the first word I want you to write is chop, chop. So we're going to listen to each of those sounds that we hear. We hear ch. So I'm going to write my ch sound. Ah. P. So we have ch, ah, chop. And you should have the word chop written down. The next one that we're going to do is chin. Ch. I. N. So I listened to each of those sounds and I heard ch, I, n, chin. Continuing on, I want you on your own to write these next few words underneath the 2 words you've just written. So we're gonna look at the word chat. I want you to write the word chat. Ch, a, t, chat. After you've written the word chat, I want you to write the word chen. Chen. Ch, e, n, chen. After you've written that word, we've got one more. I want you to write the word rich. Ich, rich. I'm gonna write that word, and you should have 5 words now on that list, and make sure you're keeping a hold of it. It's time for math now. So we are doing our counting from 1 to 100. You're counting by ones and you're gonna count by tens, and make sure you are videoing yourself. I would love to see you counting in a bunch of different ways. Wanna see who can be the most creative? Today is day 18. So after you have counted, you are looking in your packet again at page 5. And at page 7, where you are going to fill these in for the number 18. After you have done that, you are going to look at that fluency game again, but I have a new option for you. So you can play one of the old ones if you want to do Go Fish, or just do the regular fluency game that we started out with. But you are gonna take your 10 frames. This is just a new option if you wanna try. And you are gonna split them in half. And you're gonna give half to one person. And I'm gonna take the other half. And y'all are going to see who has the greater number. So let's pull my first one off the pile. I have 5. And my partner has 8. So my partner gets to keep both of these because they have the greater number. Then we're gonna play again. So I have 1. And my partner has 9. So my partner gets to keep those again. So you're gonna see who can get the most pairs and who has the greater number each turn. So that's just another option for you for playing that fluency game. And that's all we have for math. So we're gonna move on into our next subject. Last but not least, we're looking at science. And in science today, we are gonna check out some new animals. And the animals that we are going to look at are reptiles. So I'm sure you've heard of reptiles, and I'm sure you know some different reptiles. But the 2 that we're gonna look at today are a snake and a tortoise. So I'm gonna show you some pictures in just a minute, but before we look at those pictures, you are going to think about comparing and contrasting these 2 different animals that are both reptiles. So I have some facts about reptiles just so that we know what a reptile is, refresh our memory. A reptile has dry and scaly skin. Reptiles also breathe through lungs. So just like people, they breathe through lungs. Reptiles also have either 4 or no legs. So they either have to have 0 legs or they have to have 4 legs to be a reptile. Reptiles also hatch from eggs. So I don't know if you've ever seen like a turtle hatch, maybe at the beach you've seen little turtles. They come out of eggs, and since turtles are reptiles, they are born from eggs. The last fact is that reptiles are cold-blooded. So how people and mammals are warm-blooded, reptiles are cold-blooded. So those are just a few facts and characteristics about reptiles. And we are going to now compare and contrast these two different reptiles. So what I want you to do, you're going to grab a sheet of paper or your journal and something to write with, and you are going to create a T-chart. So I've got my T-chart right here, and I wrote at the top, since we're comparing a tortoise and a snake, I labeled that at the top. And remember back, comparing and contrasting means finding things that are the same and finding things that are different. So I have same on one side of my T-chart and I have different on the other side. So as you look at these pictures, I want you to come up with two things that are the same between these two reptiles and two things that are different between these reptiles. And you're gonna keep track of it on a T-chart. So I'm gonna pull up our pictures. We're gonna look at our tortoise and our snake. And if you wanna pause the screen so you can get a closer look, feel free. We're gonna start with the tortoise. So here's what the tortoise looks like. And I'm gonna take it down in just a second. Feel free to pause your screen if you wanna keep looking. And then we're also going to compare that to a snake. So get a good look at this snake. And on that T-chart, you are writing two things that are the same and two things that are different between those two pictures that I just showed you. So I hope you guys have an awesome Monday. It's the start of a new week, so I look forward to seeing you all the rest of this week, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.